How's it going, everybody? It's Royalty Crypto here, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video review on Near Protocol because I do believe that it is a layer 1 that has a lot of potential if we do start to gain some momentum for the overall altcoin space. I'm also going to be talking about Bitcoin because I do believe that this entire market depends on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin's going up, then your altcoins will most likely do well, and if it's going down, vice versa, of course. So even if you're not holding Bitcoin, I would still pay attention to the chart. Also, guys, I will be going over a pretty interesting piece of information later on in this video that's a little bit of bull hopium, but I do believe it will make a huge difference in 2026 for this market. Also, guys, if you have any coins in particular that you'd like me to do a video review on, please drop them in the comment section. Just make sure that they have at least a $20 million market cap minimum. But without further ado, let's get right on into this video. So when you go on over to the Bitcoin chart, you can see that we are actually in a short-term uptrend. You can also see that I have two lines up here that represent a pretty large zone of resistance. So in my opinion, guys, the reason why we saw this recent pullback in Bitcoin in the past couple of days is because we tried to break through this resistance yet again, and we had more success this time than we did a couple of days prior. However, we did get rejected off of that resistance, so we have moved down just a little bit since then. But guys, it does seem like we are starting to form a higher low yet again around $89,000. It is possible that we could continue to drop to the downside, but as long as we stay above about 86,500, the chart is still looking healthy and bullish in my opinion. So hopefully, guys, we will solidify this higher low and then try to retest this resistance once again, and hopefully this time we'll at least get to around $96,000. But guys, once we do break above that $96,000 range, there really isn't much resistance until we get to around 103,000. So we could see a very significant pump in the short term. Really, it could be any day now for Bitcoin, so we'll just have to keep our eyes on that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at Near Protocol. So as I mentioned earlier, Near Protocol is a layer 1 that has a focus on privacy, and we did see privacy coins like Zcash and ICP have very fantastic runs in the past couple of weeks, so without a doubt this is a pretty hot narrative in my opinion. And I do expect layer 1s to have a fantastic bull run at some point in 2026, so I think that Near Protocol has a lot of potential. As you can see, we are currently trading at $1.73, which is a $2.21 billion market cap. Near Protocol has 100% of tokens in circulation, so you don't have to worry about any inflation with this coin, which is fantastic because most layer 1s actually do not have the best tokenomics, so this is very nice to see. But when we take a look at the chart, you can see that we are actually at a yearly low at $1.73. So of course this is not financial advice, but if you are bullish on Near Protocol, now would be the time to take a chance on this coin, because I do believe buying down here at these levels does present a very solid risk to reward in my opinion, because as you can see, last time we had a real altcoin run, and let's zoom out just a little bit more, we actually got as high as $7.40. So if you are buying down here and we even get back to those levels, which I do think is very realistic, that's about a 5x on your money from this area. So those are some pretty solid potential gains. But guys, I actually think that Near Protocol could potentially go much higher than $7. I think that it's reasonable to believe that this coin could get to around a $20 to $30 billion market cap. So if that were the case, you'd be looking at about a 20 to a 25x on your money if that were to happen. Now, of course, we would need a lot of euphoria in the altcoin market, but I do think that it is reasonable to believe that that could happen sometime in 2026, as it is likely that we will have quantitative easing starting at some point next year. We will also most likely have multiple more rate cuts, and we have a Federal Reserve chair replacement happening in May, and that will be someone who is handpicked by Trump, so you know that whoever he picks will be a very dovish Fed chair. And I do think that all of those catalysts will make a huge difference for risk on assets like Near Protocol. So let's go ahead and take a look at some Near Protocol news. So as you can see, just a couple of days ago, the Near Foundation launched its AI cloud and private chat products, which use Intel and NVIDIA technology to provide privacy-focused, hardware-secured AI processing environments. So I do love to see that not only is Near Protocol focused on the privacy narrative, they are also focused on the AI narrative as well. And of course, the AI narrative has been absolutely massive, and not just the crypto market, but also the stock market. So I do think that this will help this project gain some momentum once the altcoin season does start. You can also see that a couple of days ago, they partnered with ADI Chain to launch an AI-based travel booking platform that automates itinerary building, booking, and payments using AI agents and near intents. So this is also very cool, guys. I mean, the fact that they're doing growing so much in just this month is crazy to see. And of course, since we have been in a pretty bearish period for crypto, this isn't necessarily moving the price very much. However, it is awesome to see this project continue to build during these bearish times. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is that data shows that Near is the third highest chain in development activity within the AI/big data category over the past 30 days. So yeah, it's awesome to see people building on top of Near protocol, and this does make me feel very bullish for the short to medium term for this project. But alright guys, do I think it's a good time to be buying crypto like Near protocol? I actually do think it's a fantastic time to be accumulating. Of course, this is not financial advice, this is just my opinion, but as you guys can see, we are currently sitting at a 21 out of 100 on the Fear and Greed Index, which shows that we are very close to extreme fear. Now, historically, whenever you buy into extreme fear, you end up being rewarded quite nicely in the short to medium term. As you can see, last time we saw extreme fear in April of 2025, thanks to the tariff situation, we had a fantastic recovery on not only Bitcoin, but the entire altcoins just about a month or two later. As you can see, when we were in peak fear, Bitcoin was sitting at 76,000, and just about a month and a half later, we were able to reach 110,000, and then of course later on in the year, we did get to as high as 125,000. So guys, in my opinion, I think it's very likely that sometime either this month or next month, we will start to have a V-shaped recovery for not just Bitcoin, but the overall crypto market. So if you are buying into fear, I think that it is a good idea. Just make sure that you're dollar cost averaging so that worst case scenario, we do continue to dip, you can continue to lower your average cost. But alright guys, I did want to take a look at this tweet from Bull Theory because I do think that it is very interesting. Alright, so the US M2 money supply just hit a new all-time high and Bitcoin always follows it. So I know that some people think that, oh, Bitcoin doesn't follow the M2 money supply anymore. I actually completely disagree with that. I just think people were trying to chart the M2 money supply and say that Bitcoin would perfectly follow it 10 weeks later. I just don't think that's realistic because liquidity works in different ways. And of course, there are other factors that play into this. However, guys, once greed does start to return to the market, I think that the fact that we are starting to flood the overall economy with liquidity, it will help us have a parabolic bull run for crypto. As you can see here, the US M2 money supply has quietly climbed back to 22.3 trillion, and the pace of expansion is now the fastest since mid-2022. This is the clearest sign that liquidity in the US financial system is turning again. And typically, guys, when the M2 accelerates, risk assets rally. And of course, when M2 slows, crypto bleeds. And as I said earlier, it's not as easy as being like, oh, okay, just because the M2 money supply is going up, crypto has to go up right now. Of course, crypto doesn't work like that. If it was that easy, everybody would be rich. But nonetheless, this is very bullish for the short to medium term, in my opinion. But alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope that you guys have a fantastic weekend. Please like and subscribe if you made it this far. I greatly appreciate all the support, of course. And I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. Peace.